Welcome to another episode of Coaching Football with Brian Clee. Hey, thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of Coaching Football with myself, Brian Clee. This episode's a follow-up episode to the first one that was an overview of the playbook of the Full House T. Today we'll dive into some film and show you what the trap play looks like, what the off-tackle power play looks like, the outside keep play, the misdirection counter, and then the play action passes and how those conflict the defense. This show is, if you're a defensive coordinator, it's a nightmare. If you're an offensive coordinator, it's showing you a really effective series-based offense executed at a high level, and it's very physical. I think looking at this type of film as a coach is something that you honestly have to do. The game can be really, really humbling. And we're constantly reminded, if we're not constantly reminding ourselves that coaching this game is all about getting your players to execute at a high level with great discipline, playing downhill with a couple simple keys and reads and assignments, and they just go. And ultimately, it's the execution of your players compared to the other players when you get to the game on a Friday night. So. Like I said before, if you're a defensive coordinator, this is going to be cringeworthy. If you're an offensive coordinator or just interested in running game, power football, it's kind of a really good clinic material type stuff. So I think one thing that this episode is also going to illustrate is make sure you're coaching your players and not just belittling them, because in the end they're making mistakes, and part of coaching the game of football is teaching guys that a mistake's okay, but we got to learn from it and improve. So sit back and check out the Full House T here. Here we go with the film. The first play, it's not Full House T, obviously, that's wing right. However, this shows the explosiveness of the trap play. This is Saugatuck. They were the 2017 Division 7 runner-up in the state of Michigan to, I believe, Pewamo, Westphalia. Very, very well-coached team and disciplined football players. They'll be running trap to our right, getting our four technique, and they get their wall of down blocks. They get our four technique kicked out, makes a move on the safety, gets an angle on the corner, and it's going to be a touchdown. I don't need to watch it again. The end zone view, the week before, we had some success blitzing our will linebacker through the A-gap and hip pocketing the guard, and they do a great job of scouting us up and really a great job of showing getting a wall of down blocks on a couple guys. They're going to arc their tackle. Four techniques on a called squeeze, and they get what they want offensively. They've got a wall of two down blocks there. They're working up to linebacker level with the tackle, and they've got a crease where they're going to be able to kick out the four technique. Guard gets his helmet inside. There's only a tiny alley there, but they've got it. Fullback's going to be able to stay right on the midline course and hit this thing at full speed. Gets our safety shoulders turned. Again, he's off to the races. Going to get a touchdown. This is from that 68-point debacle, and this really shows the concept of serious football that the T relies on. The three technique is penetration against power as a three technique, and even front is a must. It's a really good thing. Not recognizing a down block and squeezing and trying to spill the trap. That's a conflict if the player is not recognizing that down block. So get what they want. They got our three technique trapped, our nine techniques also outside of the trap, and the fullback's going to hit it on course. We snuck a safety up to spy, and the play's going to hit. He's going to miss a tackle, and a really big, strong, fast kid goes in for the first of several touchdowns that night. Also from that 68-point game, we made an adjustment at halftime and ended up playing an odd front, and they do a good job of walling off our nose and picking up the backside three technique. They don't get the linebackers blocked, but again, they're getting what they want. 74, that's the play side guard. You see his back, the pulling guard from the backside's right behind the bubble. And because of their fakes, right now, two guys are coming out. They got the ball there, and then the quarterback's going to follow this too. And you can't see where the ball is unless you're just trusting and filling downhill. And they get us chasing the power just enough. They get our 3 technique right there kicked out. And they're going to hit the A-gaps. They're going to actually run right by one of the linebackers because, again, he's working out to the power. And really the only guy who knows where the ball is the backside 3 technique trying to hit pocket the guard. And he didn't make the tackle. Big, strong, fast kid on course, on full speed. He's going to score. Here we are against Saugatuck again. And they hit it quick. One quick move and off to the races. End zone view. They'll be going trap to the defensive left here, and this is week 2. So our 3 techniques definitely a little wide, and that's one of those things. It's on you as a coach. You either coach it or you allow it. We allow them to line up a little bit wide. We don't get any surface on that guard who down blocks our nose. They're forming their wall, and inside linebackers hesitating just a little bit. And right now they got their wall built. The tackle arced and is on our inside linebacker, our MAC linebacker. They had the double team on the nose, and a lot of coaches would be like, well, that safety should still make the play, and they're right. That's the job of a safety in cover 2 is make sure you play another down. But in the end, he's keying that tight end, and that tight end's on a vertical release. It might be a post, might be a flag, so he's going to freeze for a second. And on top of that, he sees the fakes, and whoa. As I was saying, that safety sees the fakes, and he's going to chase the power and the keep, or at least peek at it, and the fullback gets a cutback on him. And what I saw, I was talking about how good these teams do faking the ball. That right there is not great fundamental. Like, no running back coach, and especially a T coach, is coaching their fullbacks up to have the ball that loose when they go to make a move. And the kid's off to the races again because he never really had to change course. Another fullback trap, and this one shows, again, we've got that spy safety. We're creeping them up there to try and help out. And in the end, it's on us as coaches. We didn't give him clear reads. He's not going to know where the ball is. He's chasing the powers and the keep out wider, and the fullback is literally probably brushing his shoulders. Stays on track, and see ya. This one's heartbreaking. This trap, we don't get our play side 3 technique is not squeezing that down block. However, our backside 3 technique does a great job pickpocketing the guard. Problem is, in high school football, that fullback, I guarantee his weight room numbers are just a little bit better than that 3 techniques. That 3 techniques, really good player, really good disciplined player, but he's the only one getting in on the tackle. I think you become a much better tackling team when you just get a ton of bodies to the ball. And our play side 3 technique got kicked out, so this fullback's able to go make a play because only one guy really knows where the ball is right now. And our safety doesn't figure it out. Our backside corner had a clue, but that guy goes in for another touchdown. Big, strong, fast kid, stays on track. Only one guy getting to the ball. This shows them trapping. Now, this is Constantine. Very, very good program, consistently well coached and disciplined, tough physical players. This shows them trapping a 5 technique, which they'll do at times. So they'll go as wide as a 5, even a 6, potentially. They're unbalanced here, so they get a guy who's used to playing the power and taking on the kick out of the halfback, and now they hit the trap just a little bit wider and trap a different kid. And right now, he does a good job stepping down inside. Our 5 technique does, but he's used to playing that power. He sees that power fake back here. Like, who has the ball? The halfback or the quarterback, or does that fullback who's got his arms crossed have the ball? And they put that guy in conflict. Our linebackers are running flat to try and play the power. The 5 techniques trapped, and the fullback hits it. Again, the only guy who had a clue was our backside 2 technique. This is from this year, and this once again just shows our backside inside linebacker is going to overrun this a little bit. He's maybe thinking going fit power, and our backside corner, because he's got to respect a potential vertical of the tight end, ends up getting his shoulders turned just a little bit because, again, he's worried about multiple things there. And that's a little bit on us, and we get trapped out at the 5 technique. Although when we get to the end zone view, you'll see that, wow, that was a big trap. It actually didn't matter too much. So in our 13 front, we've got our 3 technique does a great job of squeezing that guard. Problem is our backside inside linebacker, or our will linebacker there, when he goes to fit, he ends up overrunning the play just a little bit. Cutback happens. Our safety's shoulders return because he's worried about that tight end, and the kid's going to walk in for a score pretty much. Another trap, and they trap one of our better ball players here, but it's because he got conflicted. He's planning on playing power, and they get the kick out on him. End zone view will show it real well. So here comes the trap. And again, he's seen a couple powers. Him playing that C gap aggressively is really helpful on power, but doesn't get surface on the tackle. You can see the wall of down blocks starting to form. Here comes the guard to trap him. And in the end, he starts to turn to look for it, but a smaller ball player can get underneath them. They get what they want. There's their kick out. There's their wall. Safety's going to have a hard time. Like, is that a pass route or not? We don't make it go wide enough for the safety to know, and backside safety almost gets there, but they go in. Again, from that 68-point game. So now here's a power, and it's later in the game and whatnot, but this shows how they will alternate how they try to block their powers, and we do a pretty good job here. Ultimately, it's a kid breaking one tackle, but that's the problem. We've got guys that are respecting the trap play, so they're maybe inside and not fitting and helping out on the power. They got the kick out with the tight end. They actually arced him, if you saw the start of the play, and the kid runs hard. We don't make the tackle. Very frustrating play as a coach. Another power. They're going to kick out our 9 now instead of arcing. I believe we actually played 7 techniques. This is our very first year coaching against the T. They get a kick out, and again, I think the key, I'd prefer to spill it because they want to get a kick out. They get a kick out, that thing's going to stay on course. They'll get their down blocks and double teams going. They've got our inside linebacker committing to the trap. So he's just a step slow, and that's all it takes for the running back to get in. And now the last variation of their powers, they'll block power on. So the tight end's going to lock on. The 5 technique is going to lock on. The offensive tackle will lock on our 5 technique. And we got a squeeze called. We make a decent play. Problem is, there's only 1 yard of field left, and pretty sure they understand that when we got a squeeze call, locking on that guy and kicking out 1 hole wider is an okay thing, especially on the 1 yard line here. So trap fake, and we're spilling the ball out to the perimeter, but again, they only got to fall forward 1 yard. This plays in there. This shows, again, they want to get your guys running sideline to sideline, and when they don't quite know where the ball is, they're going to be a little bit hesitant. And that's the goal of the offense. End zone view shows it really well. Our MAC linebacker does a great job plugging the open B gap. That's his job. And our will linebacker's got to scrape across. That's the way we teach that. Problem is he's working out to the keep and doesn't fit that power fake nice and low, and that's a big, strong running back. This is Delton Kellogg. We've had some really good battles with them, and they go in, and ultimately, I believe that was the winning touchdown. One more power, and this is we don't use this front anymore. This is how to not defend the T, because I think you're better off having as many second-level defenders as possible while still getting hands on guys. But they're going to have a kick out on the wide 9 there, and they'll get a kick out by the 7, and our MAC linebacker overruns it just a little bit, and they pick up a solid gain. This is not the power with the fullback faking. You see the guard there asking, am I pulling on this one? This is what we call power ISO on, and it shows that they'll hit the power in a couple different gaps depending on what you give them and how the defense fits it. And there it is. Gets the cutback, and it's gonna go. End zone view. So again, they're on the fullback. Instead of the fullback diving up the middle on the trap fake, he's going to become basically the pulling guard here. And they hit the B gap, vertical, and cutback player misses it, and one of their better ball players, cutback player, actually you see him on the screen at the very end. Cutback player is honoring the quarterback fake on the boot. So you can get to him. Now we're into the quarterback running game. They'll run 2 versions of the keep. This was what I would call like a power follow. The quarterback's going to tuck right behind the power fake, kind of ride it as long as possible, and really good ball carrier punches it in for one of the first scores of a really, really good ball game a couple of years ago. The end zone, trap fake, power fake, and then tuck in behind it. And they've got all of our players committed at that point. Let's see if I can. Right here, our inside linebacker scraping over the top is committed to ultimately the power fake. So we've got a 2-on-1 with our safety in our corner. They get the corner blocked with one of the halfbacks, and the quarterback's able to hit this thing full speed and makes a hell of a play for a touchdown there. I think this is going to be one more power fox, and again, conflicting the linebacker with the power fake. The linebacker hesitates for a second as he's scraping. Does a great job really scraping out as he's reading closed windows, but he pauses to check the power fake, and because of that, quarterback stays full speed, and we don't even miss the tackle, unfortunately. We just don't. The other version that you saw on the playbook, they'll run the keep wider, and you'll be yelling at your 9 technique as the defensive guy. You know, we used to at least be yelling, you know, keep it inside, keep it inside, keep it inside. Even when it's coming on 4th and 3, he peeks inside because he's had to play the power a couple times. Quarterback keeps it around the outside, circles the entire defense, punches it in for the score. This was, I believe, our first year against Constantine, and right there shows how that quarterback is actually holding that ball and then that fake until he sees it, somebody commit to the power. And because of that, that freezes a couple defenders. He falls behind. The power fake becomes one blocker, and he goes in for what would have been a score if not for a penalty behind the play. Here's a keep from this past year. Sometimes they'll down block and try to influence at the edge. Other times they'll straight up reach. Here they wash our 9. We're on a called squeeze. They get our corner to pause for just a second because he's early in the game. He hasn't seen the full speed of the offense and how well their kids are going to execute compared to the scout team. Pauses for a second to check the power, and now he's out leveraged. quarterback's going to be able to beat him to the pylon. Key play from this year, like I said, sometimes they'll step down, and if a 9 technique or 7 or something like that's there, they'll down block it. Other times they'll reach them. Here I believe we do get a reach. Oh, we spill it. Okay. My bad. So here we go. They'll have the trap fake. They're going to occupy the middle of the defense with the trap fake. They're going to try to occupy the off tackle area with the power fake, and you have to have your, I think if you're a spill team, you have to, once you get a down block, you're trying to spill it, you're ripping inside, which is okay. We're relying on our corner to set the edge, and again, he's had powers. Our safety's actually downhill. He's in the area to actually probably make the play right now, but they get just enough of a hook on our corner that the edge never gets set. Their guard's up on him. So even though our safety is a pretty good ball player and tackler, they're going to beat us to the pylon for a touchdown. And then one more keep. Again, if your forced defender essentially is stepping inside because he feels he's got to play the power, he gets completely out leverage right now. The quarterback's going to circle him and the entire defense and punch it in for a score. The counter play, so they've run the trap, they've run the power, they've run the keep, and now they're going to run misdirection. Most of these teams, their guard end. Guard gets the kick out and leads up through, and they do just enough to make our safety miss and hit a big one for a touchdown. So here comes, I think I got the blocking scheme drawn up for y'all. Guard kick out, tight end's going to pull and wrap. Our MAC linebacker doesn't pick up the guard or the back. They get a wall, real nice wall right there, you can see formed, and now they're one-on-one with the safety. After they get the kick out on our 9 technique and the tight end leading up on the corner, one-on-one, his shoulders are square, he's going to be able to try to make a move, and he does. Miss tackle, and that thing's going to go to the house. This is, now they're going to arc on their counter. They get the kick out of both with the arcing tight end and the pulling guard. Again, we don't play this front anymore because we want more second level defenders, but they hit it for a big long touchdown. And all the fakes going in the opposite direction. You can see our inside linebackers watching one more time. They're off to go tackle the trap and the power off to the offensive right, and the offense comes back to the left. One more counter, I believe. Counter GE. Once again, they arc, they get a kick out. And we do an okay job running it down, but that's a big first down play. This was a heck of a ball game. Here they go. They wash our 6 technique. They get our corner sucked inside, and they get a big gain on the counter here. Counter GT. Again, most of them are GEs. This is the week after we got beat by 68 against Constantine. We turned around and played Delton, and we did a much better job against these guys. I believe the score is like 3-7 or something like that at that time. But they get what they want. They kick out our 9. They get a wall for him. The tackle wraps up and runs just a little interference on our corner there in the end, and they punch it in for a touchdown. 10-0 with 5 minutes to go in the ball game. They attempted a field goal. We blocked it earlier. So we're pitching a shutout at the 4th with 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Made some adjustments, played a much more disciplined, but they're going to have that guard is going to come kick out our 9 technique. Actually, yeah, the guard, that's the halfback coming back. The guard's right there. Guard's going to kick out real quick. Our 9 technique, our backside 3's trying to hip pocket and doesn't quite get there, gets cut off. They hit it vertical enough, and our corner has to run around the tackle there pulling, and they pick it up. And lastly, the play action passes. So they've been running and running and running the ball. Like I said in the playbook overview, they'll run the ball 50 times and throw it twice for 2 touchdowns and like 80 yards. And just they're counting on guys working up to the powers and the keeps, and the kid doesn't even throw a great ball because he could, throw it to either the tight end or the halfback there. The flag, and once again, could have thrown it to the halfback or the tight end. Here's us. We do okay on this one. It's 4th and 10, and our corner understands the situation, so he sinks, but he's giving up the low route. We do a great job though rallying and pursuing, as they don't quite get the yardage here. Actually, the kid who makes the tackle, the meat of the tackle, let you watch him from the start. This is pretty impressive. So our 4 technique is on a called squeeze, because I'm worried about trap in this situation. They're at the 24-yard line. What will they have to lose? Maybe a trap pops. But he squeezes down inside, ricochets off something, turns and pursues. Only about a 190-pound kid. I believe he's at Adrian, had like a 1400 on his SAT, and just great effort out of that kid. That's exciting when you see that. This is at the end of a wild ball game. Again, Delton Kellogg. So low high, this is going to show you, their big tight end is going to come down, pivot, and go out. The previous couple plays where the halfback was the flag route, and the tight end, the tight end was the flag route, and the halfback was like the out route. Now they're going to switch this up. He pivots. You actually see him punching our outside linebacker on his release, and we do just enough down in distance. We've got some guys playing deep. I don't know what our corner was doing. Again, he's worried about keep. He's honoring that. Luckily, our backside corner and our inside linebacker push over to that, and we make the tackle for a short gain. Now this is the halfback will be on a flag. The tight end is going to come down and pivot out. Ends up open, and we make a really good play on this one. Do a great job matching it, but they're definitely conflicting you. You see our 9 tech step down inside. Can't quite get to that linebacker. Or to the quarterback, my bad. And again, he's playing the power, so they're conflicting us. Couple more. Last couple. Boot pass. You'll see our 9 techs don't do a great job of getting hands on guys, and really illustrates, right there, wide open. They're trying to get 3 levels, fullbacks lead into the flats. The near tight end is running a flag, and the backside tight end's dragging. And meanwhile, they've got their trap fake and their power fake. The quarterback goes opposite of all that flow. You can see our guys, they're frozen. They have not kept their eyes on their keys, and that's what the goal of the offense is. Quarterback throws the ball out there to a wide open kid for a touchdown. And end zone view. See us. It's classic boot. We're going the opposite direction for a second, lose sight of things, and they pick up a big score right before the half. This one, they're going to hit the tight end on the flag, and they do just enough to get our safety to freeze. So the safety gets out leveraged. Luckily, our backside safety runs them down and gives us a second chance. You see that safety working out, because he's used to playing the keeps and the powers, coming down and helping out. Loses sight of that tight end just a step. and quarterback makes a heck of a play. Tight end makes a heck of a catch. Boot wheel pass. So you see the routes drawn up there. So they start off one way, work back the other way, and then throw it back to the original halfback who's going to come kick out our outside linebacker. See our corner's in a tough spot. He sees a bunch of different flow, and that's what the offense is counting on. And they, luckily, our backside safety, very, very headsy football player, picked up the flow of the play. He's actually a Division I basketball player named Zach Goodline at Oakland University now as a freshman. Does a great job running it down. And this one's heartbreaking again. Corner's used to playing force. He's either tackling a keep or a spilled power. And he misses the halfback on the wheel, running right by him, literally brushes him. The quarterback can throw a grenade, and they've got us out leveraged. It's a fast ball player. They caught us. And you see the design of the play there. The tight end releasing outside our outside linebacker gets the corner and the safety to both turn and chase him. And really, when you're playing cover 2, the safety should melt with that for a little bit, and the corner should get some depth, but the corner should be looking for the next thing coming to the flats. And that kid is so wide open. Big touchdown with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. That seals the deal. Ends up being the game-winning touchdown. As always, guys, if you have questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Check me out and follow me on Twitter at Coach Klee. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. And if you have anything that maybe requires a longer response, hit me up at coachbrienklee@gmail.com. Thanks as always for tuning in. See you again.